On June 4th, 2021, 3 Locust Grove police officers in Henry County approached YouTuber Hellcat Infamous, suspecting him of loitering and potential involvement in drug-related activities at a gas station. Is the YouTuber related to any drug-related activity? Let's watch the video further and see what happens.
Shows up with a 54 male, quick trip, white, Dodge Charger.
Deputy Nicole Colleen Pitts led her colleagues to approach and interrogate the YouTuber about his activities. The other 2 officials made their way to the spot after being called there by the lady officer.
Are you hanging out? Are you meeting somebody? Are you waiting on somebody? Are you lost?
I live on.
So, the reason I'm asking, we've been here how long? Probably 20 minutes?
30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah,
you hadn't got any gas. You hadn't gone in and got any food.
No.
You parked at a gas pump. And I know the tank's not on the side. It's on the other side, right?
No, I don't even take this for the gas.
So, what are you doing?
The second officer entered the frame and asked the YouTuber whether he was hanging out with friends or doing something else. Subtly inquiring as to why he was there, the man responded that he resides there in response to the question, where the officer stated that they had a good reason to suspect criminal activity in the area due to its long-standing history of such activity.
Just chilling. I don't want to go home. I can't sit in the parking lot. Because I live out here.
Where you have some ID? Who's your ID? Or is it the bar?
Some people, what's the problem?
Acting all confused, the cop asked the guy again, what exactly is he doing at the gas station? Clueless Hellcat asked whether he's doing something wrong while staying up there, as he was just chilling and grabbing something to eat, which is not wrong.
You can make it super difficult, but you do.
I'm just wondering why y'all. But I've literally been on the phone just talking.
I know.
Go and get your ID.
The YouTuber's identification was requested by the police, and the man complains and asked why she is doing so. The officer then advised the young man not to make matters any more difficult than they already were for themselves. The important thing to note here is, according to the 4th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, a police officer is allowed to stop a suspect on the street and frisk him or her without probable cause to arrest if the officer has a reasonable suspicion that the person has committed, is committing, or is about to commit a crime, and has a reasonable belief that the person may be armed. Well, in this case, the authorities assert that the YouTuber in question was loitering around the gas station and that the surrounding area was notorious for narcotics trafficking and other forms of criminal activity.
Get your ID, and then while you give us your ID, she can speak with you. But you need to identify yourself, so go and get your ID.
So right now, what it falls under is loitering.
Loitering?
Yes.
Yes.
Because, if you were, getting gas, waiting on somebody, if you were doing anything other than just kind of, hanging out, it wouldn't be an issue.
Well, I've been on the phone.
We know.
This area is known for narcotic activity. It's known for criminal activity.
The other officer barged in and asked for the man's ID and said that he is needed to be identified, where the lady officer comes and talks about why he's waiting there so long, as the area is quite popular for narcotics activity, and that's why they're asking for the man's identification. The man claimed he lives out here, where the cop says he believed him but still asked for the ID.
Because, everybody...
I've never been
listen,
I know a lot of detectives.
If you notice the folks that come, they get their gas and they go.
Yeah, but
So, the state's definition of loitering is doing something not like the hanging out at the gas pump, not like the
The man gave his ID card for identification. After verifying the YouTuber's ID and discovering no prior criminal records, the officers continued their questioning before ultimately departing without filing any charges. This sequence of events raises questions about the legitimacy of their initial suspicion and the necessity of their prolonged interrogation. The absence of criminal records suggests a lack of reasonable grounds for their continued investigation.
That would add to it, but you didn't, so it makes it a little lot better. You get what I'm saying?
But I literally come here all the time. I live here. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
but you
fine.
can't just if you're not doing any business, if you're not getting gas, you're not
But I
going to
was
get
actually
food.
finna go in there. I just had a phone conversation.
Well, that's cool. But now that we've had this communication, it's what they call dispelling the alarm. Now that we're able to figure out, okay, this guy doesn't have any issues or anything like that.
Now, the lady cop is trying to make the man understand that she came to question due to suspicion, but the man didn't run away after seeing the cop, and that's a green flag that he didn't do anything, to which the man got furious and asked, why would he even run when he's done nothing wrong? To which she replied that it looked better. She was trying to explain why she came in the first place, but her explanation was kind of dumb and baseless. Where the other cop comes in and tried to save the conversation but failed miserably, as the YouTuber claims that he lives nearby and there's nothing wrong with calling on a gas station and talking for a half hour. To which the cop replied that now that we are dispelling the alarm as they had the conversation with the YouTuber and nothing is wrong here.
Then we could be by our merry way. But we never met you a day in our life. I've never met you.
I've never got
She's
that
never
one.
met you. He's never met you. So we're just doing our jobs. What we're getting paid to do.
The cops have stated they're merely performing the duties for which they are paid, and the lady cop was talking on her walkie-talkie.
You got to, and then head on home, alright?
Yeah, but
Second
that's
thing,
kind of
your-
crazy.
Look, it's
Like I've never.
Go look up loitering in Georgia
No,
code section.
my father's a retired sheriff.
Okay.
I
Well,
know, but I've never.
like I said, this area is known for drug transactions. We're gonna make sure none of that's occurring here tonight. So
The lady cop told the YouTuber to get home, where the YouTuber replied and called her crazy, where the male cop jumps into the conversation and told to look up loitering in Georgia, where it turned out that the YouTuber's father is a retired sheriff, to which the male cop said that the area is known for drug transactions, and they're just making sure none of that's occurring there.
Well, no, I race at Silver Dollar. I do track nets. I don't do no drug activity.
And like you said earlier, the reason we got out with you and asked you and didn't just like immediately throw you in handcuffs is called dispelling the alarm. That's all that happened. So, but do these change? Like, can you make them just one regular color?
I can turn them off with a switch.
Okay, so the blue lights, you can't have blue lights.
The female officer stated there's a party going on in the area and they're concerned that there will be drugs involved. Because of this, they approached the YouTuber and asked him about it. However, the situation is completely different than what the officer stated, as there are many people in the gas station, but the police only had suspicions about the YouTuber, possibly because of his race. And they requested the YouTuber to change the color of his car's light, questioning why the blue color light is on rather than the standard one.
and you definitely should. Then you should definitely understand our job. Then you should understand. If you say all these things, and if you're in the profession, you would understand why we're doing our job.
That's why I had no problem.
Right. And we definitely appreciate the cooperation. No, it's not random. We sat there for a while.
The YouTuber tried to explain his point of view, stating that his father's a retired sheriff and he won't do things like that, to which the cop tried to explain himself, stating that the YouTuber should understand where the police are coming from. And then the cop stated they appreciate the cooperation. The policeman tried to explain they saw a guy coming towards the YouTuber and thought it could be drug-related, that's why they intervened, but the YouTuber replied the car he's driving. The guy complimented the car and nothing else.
Affairs going on. Now we're gonna be about our way. If we thought something nefarious was going on, then we'd be going a whole different direction. You understand? But we have to dispel alarm, make sure nothing nefarious is going on. You understand that?
The officers state that they'll be on their way after conversing with the YouTuber. They explain that if they had suspected any suspicious or illegal activities, their approach would have been different. However, their intention was to dispel any concerns and ensure that no nefarious actions were taking place. They encouraged the YouTuber to familiarize themselves with the relevant code section, specifically mentioning loitering, spelled it out, and recommended looking it up for further information.
Look it up.
Deputy Nicole Pitts, who was one of the cops that was involved in the event, was made to face the consequences of her actions by having her employment with the Locust Grove Police Department terminated. The particular factors that led to her being fired are being kept a secret for time being. During the course of a phone call, Chief of Police Derek Austin verified the accuracy of this information. Ahmed Al-Manhali, a United Arab Emirates citizen, traveled to Avon, Ohio in June 2016 for medical treatment at the Cleveland Clinic. Upon arrival at the Fairland Inn and Suites, he was informed that the hotel was fully booked due to the Republican National Convention. Ahmed politely requested alternative accommodation options. While waiting in the lobby, a SWAT-style response occurred, with Avon officers arriving and detaining Ahmed, who was simply walking out of the hotel while on his phone.
On the ground, guys! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on your car.
Confused by the situation, Ahmed questioned the officers, but they handcuffed and searched him, damaging his phone in the process. They found a second phone, which Ahmed used for business purposes.
What the phone away? Cover the entrance, help me get back. What is it? What happened?
Despite no evidence of wrongdoing, the officers treated Ahmed as a terrorist, disregarding any investigation or backstory. Simultaneously, an officer spoke to the hotel receptionist who had made a 911 call, falsely claiming Ahmed had pledged allegiance to ISIS. The officer soon realized it was a false alarm and called off the search. Meanwhile, Ahmed collapsed and passed out, prompting paramedics to administer aid and to take him to a nearby hospital. The incident gained international attention, leading to the United Arab Emirates Ministry of Foreign Affairs to demand an apology from Avon officials. The mayor and police chief apologized to Ahmed, emphasizing that the incident did not reflect their community's values. Marriott International, the hotel's owner, expressed regret and committed to training to prevent similar occurrences.
You should not have been put in that situation like you were.
There were some false accusations made against you, and those are regrettable.
Mayor
Jensen said in a statement, "This was a very unfortunate incident and does not reflect our community. Avon is proud to welcome visitors from the United Arab Emirates and other countries who regularly come to Northern Ohio for tourism, business, medical care, or education."
The settlement aimed to compensate Ahmed for physical, psychological, and financial damages. However, he still faced lasting emotional distress, was haunted by the officer's eyes, and experienced sleep disturbances. The incident highlighted the need for improved cultural understanding and sensitivity among law enforcement personnel. Here we have Brian Filipiak, a 47-year-old Washtenaw County Sheriff's Lieutenant, who was off duty when he got pulled over. Deputy Morrison, after stopping Lieutenant Filipiak, informed him about the reason for the traffic stop. Subsequently, Deputy Morrison inquired if Lieutenant Filipiak had consumed any alcoholic beverages that afternoon. In response, Lieutenant Filipiak acknowledged that he had indeed consumed a couple drinks. After Deputy Morrison confirmed Lieutenant Filipiak's identity, he returned to his vehicle and instructed the lieutenant to exit the truck for a field sobriety test. The purpose of the test was to assess whether Lieutenant Filipiak had consumed an excessive amount of alcohol, despite it being evident he was clearly unfit to drive. Exhibiting evident signs of severe intoxication, such as slurred speech and watery eyes, Lieutenant Filipiak left no room for doubt that he was heavily under the influence.
Okay. You got your ID?
However, despite this clear indication, Lieutenant Filipiak adamantly refused to comply with Deputy Morrison's request to step out of the vehicle. Instead, he insisted that Deputy Morrison should either allow him to return home or let him sleep it off on the side of the road. In response, Deputy Morrison firmly informed Lieutenant Filipiak that his options were limited and made it clear that he would not allow him to be released in his current condition.
Multiple reckless driving calls about you. Okay. And then when I'm following you, you're hitting the shoulder of the road. You been drinking? How many?
Just a couple.
Okay. Where are you reaching in the back for? I seen you reaching in the back. You have an open container back there? Okay, you been drinking on the way here? You got your registration, proof of insurance? Do you have a firearm on you? Okay. Do you got your pistol? Are you a corrections officer or just deputy? Lieutenant? Okay.
Despite Deputy Morrison's persistent attempts to persuade Lieutenant Filipiak to exit the vehicle, the latter remained adamant in his repeated request to be released. He proceeded to assert that Deputy Morrison's job would not be jeopardized if he let the situation slide, emphasizing the potential consequences for himself if the matter were pursued.
Brian, I'm going to have you step out of the car. I'm going to do a field sobriety test for you. Okay?
However, Deputy Morrison understood that ignoring the incident would not only lead to his termination, but also result in misdemeanor charges carrying a penalty of up to 1 year of imprisonment or a fine of $1,000. Deputy Morrison was fully aware of the extent of Lieutenant Filipiak's intoxication, as he had allegedly observed the lieutenant discarding open containers in the back seat during the traffic stop.
I'm going to ask you to step out of the vehicle. What would you like me to do?
Just let me.
I can't. I had multiple phone calls. You'd be in the same situation if I was in the vehicle in your county, correct?
All right, just let me stay here.
You can't. I'm going to ask you nicely to step out of this vehicle. Brian, my hands are tied. If I let you go, I'm going to lose my career over you. You don't think I wouldn't?
No.
This is northern Michigan. We're a small department. Okay, I'm going to ask you nicely to step out of the vehicle. You know I have my job to do. You know that.
Yeah, and I just want you.
And I understand your point, your position. Okay, I'm trying to be as cooperative and nice to you as I can.
Despite Deputy Morrison's continuous efforts in trying to have Lieutenant Filipiak step out of the vehicle,
after nearly 5 minutes of persistent requests for Lieutenant Filipiak to exit the vehicle,
just let me go.
I can't let you go. We're way past that point. You know this. You're a lieutenant. You know how this works.
Yeah, I do.
You would tell one of your deputies if they called you right on the side of the road. And they asked you what to do. So, if one of your deputies is in the position as I am right now, calling you as a lieutenant, Lieutenant, this is what I got. What should I do? You're just going to say, let him go? Why? Just because. You're intoxicated. I know it. You've opened alcohol in the vehicle that you passed back. I know it. You know it. Can't have been God. Ryan, out of this vehicle. I'm asking you nicely. I don't want to see anything worse happen. Okay?
No.
Deputy Morrison, having reached the limits of his patience, opened the door and firmly instructed the lieutenant to step out, avoiding any need for further escalation. Deputy Morrison proceeded to inform Lieutenant Filipiak that he would be arrested for refusal to comply if he persisted in refusing to exit the vehicle. RNO, an abbreviation for resisting and obstructing a police officer, is a felony offense that carries a penalty of up to 2 years of imprisonment, a fine of $2,000, or both. After an additional 5 minutes had passed, Deputy Morrison cautioned Lieutenant Filipiak that he would be tased if he continued to resist compliance with his instructions. Consequently, Deputy Morrison retrieved his taser and aimed it at the lieutenant, while firmly warning him that failure to comply would result in being tased. Deputy Morrison even considered using the backup taser at that moment. In this situation, Deputy Morrison possessed the authority to employ his taser and would not have faced repercussions for doing so. Fortunately, the threat of being tased successfully persuaded Lieutenant Filipiak to finally exit the vehicle. As anticipated, Deputy Morrison did not tolerate Lieutenant Filipiak's resistance, instructed Lieutenant Filipiak to occupy the back seat of his patrol car, intending to transport him to the police station. Despite Deputy Morrison's clear directive to sit in the car, Lieutenant Filipiak persisted in his refusal, stating, "I am who you guys are. Do you guys realize that?" This remark strongly indicated that Lieutenant Filipiak was attempting to exploit his position of authority, seeking a preferential treatment based on his status.
All right, we're done with this.
Hold on.
Talk to me. Yes or no? Are you doing field sobriety tests?
All right. So if this was the other situation,
Lieutenant Filipiak clearly held the belief that he was exempt from abiding by the law. However, the officers present at the scene were determined to make it evident that such was not the case. Following some further struggle, they managed to successfully place Lieutenant Filipiak inside the patrol car.
I'm not resisting, but let's stop.
Let's
talk about it. Okay.
We've talked. I don't want to put you on the ground.
No,
I don't want to make this worse.
All right, I will just sleep it off.
Dude, stop it right now. You know? Stop it.
Allowing for his transportation to the police station where he would face the consequences of his actions. Subsequent breath tests conducted at the police station revealed that Filipiak's blood alcohol level registered at 0.28 and 0.27%. For context, the legal limit for operating a motor vehicle in the United States is a mere 0.08%.
What happens? We're going to take you to the jail and ask for a data master. And if you refuse that, we're going to get a search warrant for your blood. Brian, have a seat.
Stop, guys. Hold on.
Therefore, Lieutenant Filipiak's blood alcohol concentration was over 3 times the legal limit, subjecting him to Michigan State's super drunk law, which carries penalties of up to 180 days in jail, fines of up to $700, and up to 360 hours of community service. So it's time to watch our next case. On July 26, 2021, the Orangeburg Department of Public Safety received a distress call from a female resident of Colton Village Townhomes in Orangeburg, South Carolina. The caller reported that a man was vigorously banging on her door and window, attempting to gain entry. Furthermore, she alleged that the man possessed a firearm tucked into the waistband of his jean shorts. In response, dispatch promptly directed all officers in the vicinity to respond without delay. Officer David Lance Dukes arrived as the first responder at the scene. With his firearm drawn, Officer Dukes exited his patrol car and proceeded to instruct a 58-year-old disabled man, along with his cousin DeMario Julian, to immediately lie on the ground. At this juncture, it was evident from the body camera footage that Mr. Gillard was complying with Officer Dukes' commands. The recording captured Mr. Gillard raising his hands in the air and proceeding to lower himself onto his hands and knees as directed by the officer. However, before Mr. Gillard could fully assume the prone position on the ground, Officer Dukes unexpectedly and forcefully stomped on Mr. Gillard's neck. The impact caused Mr. Gillard's head to forcefully strike the pavement, resulting in a bruised forehead. Subsequent investigations revealed that Mr. Gillard's delay in complying was due to the presence of metal rods and pins in his leg and hip as a result of a previous injury. Following the aggressive act, Officer Dukes promptly restrained Mr. Gillard by placing him in handcuffs. Immediately afterward, Officer Dukes informed a second officer at the scene that there should be a gun behind Mr. Gillard, suggesting that Mr. Gillard had allegedly left a firearm behind the white SUV where he had been positioned prior to the confrontation.
There's a gun behind me. There's a gun, I believe, behind me.
I ain't got no gun there.
Mr. Gillard assured Officer Dukes that there was no gun present, and upon a quick examination, the second officer confirmed the absence of any firearm. Officer Dukes proceeded to conduct a search of Mr. Gillard's person, accusing him of failing to comply with orders. However, as evident in the earlier body camera footage, Mr. Gillard had been complying with Officer Dukes' commands from the beginning. Not once did Mr. Gillard exhibit any behavior that could be perceived as a threat, thereby negating Officer Dukes' justification for using excessive force against him. Once Officer Dukes ensured that Mr. Gillard did not possess a firearm, he decided to search the vicinity of the SUV himself in hopes of locating the alleged weapon. It swiftly became apparent that there was no gun to be found. Instead, it was discovered that Mr. Gillard had been carrying a stick wrapped in shiny silver tape, which he typically used as protection against aggressive stray dogs. Officer Dukes and the second officer helped Mr. Gillard back up onto his feet, at which point he began expressing his dissatisfaction regarding the unnecessary impact of his head on the concrete. The visible injury to Mr. Gillard's forehead, marked by a bruise and swelling, further supported his claim. In response to Mr. Gillard's confrontation regarding the incident, Officer Dukes provided a reply. At this point, it became apparent that Mr. Gillard was in need of medical attention. However, neither of the officers present on the scene initially took this into consideration. Fortunately, Officer Queenie Polidor arrived and promptly recognized the necessity for emergency medical services, requesting EMS assistance. As Mr. Gillard continued to express his grievances regarding the incident, Officer Dukes approached Officer Polidor and another responding officer to inform them about the situation. However, Officer Dukes' account was far from truthful. He claimed that when Mr. Gillard walked in front of the SUV, he believed Mr. Gillard was carrying a gun and repeatedly instructed him to drop it. Officer Dukes made further allegations claiming Mr. Gillard had his hands in his pockets and repeatedly ignored requests to show his hands. However, the body camera footage once again contradicted Officer Dukes' statements.
He was in front of the car when I came up, and he was walking like this. And I thought it was a gun at first. I said, drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun. I had him at gunpoint.
Clearly showing Mr. Gillard complying with the orders by keeping his hands raised above his head. Officer Dukes mentioned to a fellow officer that he wanted to take the stick as evidence, stating that it was the reason for his actions. In response, the fellow officer promptly questioned the necessity of using the stick as evidence, pointing out that the body camera footage would suffice. EMS arrived at the scene to attend to Mr. Gillard's condition. While Mr. Gillard was being examined, Mr. Julian approached Officer Dukes and requested a card with his details on it. In response, Officer Dukes promptly informed Mr. Julian that he did not possess a card and clarified that the department did not issue such cards in any case. Officer Polidor quickly recognized Officer Dukes' misstatement and promptly corrected him. She asserted that they indeed possessed cards and proceeded to provide Mr. Julian with her own cards as requested. On July 31, 2022, the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division announced that Officer Dukes was taken into custody and charged with first-degree assault and battery. Several months later, in November 2021, Mr. Gillard received a compensation settlement of $650,000 from Orangeburg, South Carolina. City officials additionally expressed their commitment to establishing a citizens task force to provide oversight and guidance regarding interactions between residents and the Orangeburg police.